What is the KERAPLEX treatment? Keep watching to find out what all the hype is about and exactly how to do it. Hey guys, it's Cam and welcome back to my channel. So I learned a lot about KERAPLEX treatments when I was trying to Google as to whether or not I could do my Olaplex standalone treatment after I had already done a keratin treatment. And the short answer to that is no, not really, because when you do a keratin treatment, it kind of forms a barrier over your hair, so things can't penetrate it as easily. And so doing a standalone Olaplex treatment after that is kind of a waste. And when I was Googling this, I did see that some really luxurious salons across the country are starting to offer what is called a KERAPLEX treatment, which is an Olaplex standalone treatment followed by a keratin treatment to seal that Olaplex into your hair, because you have to keep doing Olaplex treatments. It's not like you do it once and your hair's fixed forever, but it helps prevent the damage from accumulating faster, seals the Olaplex into your hair, and is really the ultimate in making your hair smooth, shiny, frizz-free, and healthy. And so when I saw that salons were starting to offer this, I thought it was a really good idea. I actually already had Olaplex at home and keratin treatments at home, so I just did them back to back, and yeah, the results were like magnified. Like they just magnified each other. It was crazy. And it's really easy to do at home. If you can blow dry your hair and flat iron your hair yourself, and obviously, spread Olaplex through your hair, then you can easily do this at home. Because if you go into the salon to do this, it is exorbitantly priced. I mean, like hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And it's also a very long and time-consuming process. So you also want to make sure that you can keep all of the products for the full time that you can. And I'm sure a salon, they're trying to do everything really fast. So you may not be able to keep Olaplex #1 in your hair for an hour and a half at a salon. And feel free to reference this if you just want to do a standalone Olaplex treatment on its own, or if you just want to do a keratin treatment, or if you're gonna go all out, then yeah, combine them and do all of the steps. So with the standalone Olaplex treatment, if you haven't followed it up with a keratin treatment, then you can do it as much as you want. It's not protein, it's not going to harm your hair, you can't overdo it. It's really just a matter of how much you want to use, how much you have at your disposal, and how much time you have. And with the keratin treatment, I have found that it lasts me about 3 months, so I may go probably like 2 months before I do another Olaplex treatment and some of that keratin has worn off my hair. So stay tuned for my step-by-step guide on how to do the KERAPLEX treatment in the comfort of your own home. So this is my hair when I haven't done anything to it. Well, I mean, conditioner does make it better, but yeah, this is not cute. So I just got out of the shower and shampooed my hair, did not follow up with conditioner, and then let it air dry. Of course, if I haven't conditioned and applied heat protectant, I wouldn't touch it with heat tools. So I did not use my blow dryer and just let it air dry as much as possible. And so if you saw my video that was all about different Olaplex tips that I have, which I'm going to link up here for you, then you would see that that is a very important step to first shampoo your hair, because if you have any sort of buildup or grease on your hair, then it's going to prevent the Olaplex from being able to penetrate. So make sure you check out that video for more tips on how to maximize your Olaplex results. So the shampoo that I used to clean my hair right now was the Alterna Caviar Instant Recovery Shampoo. And it is sulfate-free and does not have any silicones in it as well, so there's nothing coating the hair when you rinse this out. And then I followed it up with the toner that I normally use. And if you want to know more about these products, I did talk a little more about them in my hair care routine video, which I will also link up here for you so you can see everything else that I use on my hair. And this is the Blond Brilliance Cool Blonde Lathering Toner. And I did want to tone before doing the Olaplex standalone treatment, and especially before doing the keratin portion, because that's just going to lock everything in. And I'm starting with the Olaplex #1, and I have already mixed it in like a little color applicator bottle with 1.5 ounces of water and 1/2 ounce of the Olaplex #1. I do believe the instructions say to mix it with 3 ounces of water, but that would just be way too much liquid, even for my length of hair, and it would just be dripping and wasteful. And even though I'm already like using a little drip tray right here, yeah, it's just, I don't want to waste it really, so. And because my hair is so fragile right now, I do not want to section it because this is so watery. It's going to get all over my hair. So I'm not worried about sectioning it right now, but if you do have really thick hair, then you may want to section it just to make this easier to apply. And I'm going to start at my roots, kind of like you would apply your hair color, and just let it drip down naturally instead of starting at the ends, because then they'll just be oversaturated and dripping wet. There's really no technique to applying this. Just try to get it in there and just soak your hair in it. Now I'm going to start brushing it out a little bit just to make sure that I've covered all the areas. I still have a little bit of product left just in case I missed a spot. But I'm going to use my wet brush to do this, and I don't recommend going in with a regular brush or a small comb. Just get a wet brush, a wide tooth comb, and brush out your hair to make sure that everything is evenly saturated. And obviously start at the ends so that way you don't rip out any hair. That's it. Okay, now I'm going to clip my hair up and put a shower cap over it and let this marinate for an hour and a half. And the reason why I'm applying a shower cap is so that this doesn't dry out, because I feel like it really helps it stay activated in your hair. So I will see you guys in an hour and a half. So now I'm going to apply the number 2 on top of this. And with that, because it's a very creamy formula, I'm going to section my hair because it's not going to just be as spreadable as water. And so yeah, let's jump right in. Okay, and here's my Olaplex number 2, and I'm using small little dollops at a time because I don't want to go overboard with it. And I just spread this through with my fingers like this. This is like awkward for me to do because normally I would like rinse my hands in between doing sections to like be able to grab the bottle, but I'm gonna try not to make this too messy. And then I have like little strands of my hair on my hands too. The nape of the neck usually doesn't get as damaged as the rest of the hair, and neither does the bottom layer. So, you know, I'm just kind of putting in whatever I feel like is necessary to cover it. Okay, now I'm just gonna brush that out a little bit just to make sure that everything is fully saturated. My hands are like so slippery right now. And again, I'm going to brush that out to distribute it. And this is very creamy, like a conditioner, so it's a little harder to distribute through the hair. Sometimes you just want to massage it in a little bit just to make sure that you're getting it through everything. And then I'm going to brush it out a little bit more. Awesome. Like I said, it's really greasy and slippery. Massage it into the roots a little bit. And again, I'm going to clip it up. Okay, and back with the shower cap. Okay. And now we're gonna wait another hour and a half and I will be back. Alright, so I just shampooed out the Olaplex treatment, and if that's all you want to do is just a standalone Olaplex treatment, then I've essentially just covered that, you know, did the whole processing time, layered everything, and then you would just, you know, you can use whatever shampoo and shampoo it out if you're just stopping there. But since I'm moving on to the keratin treatment part of the KERAPLEX treatment right now, I went ahead and shampooed with the particular shampoo that you're supposed to use before the keratin treatment that I'm about to do. And this is the Pure Brazilian Anti-Residue Shampoo. And so I got this as part of like a little kit. It has the anti-residue shampoo, the smoothing solution, which is the actual keratin treatment, and then it came with a mask, and I've already used that mask up. It wasn't very good. I think it was like pure mineral oil, and it just did not feel good on my hair. So I finished that a long time ago. Actually, even though this is like little 2-ounce sizes in this kit, I've been able to use this for like 2 or 3 treatments now. So I'm at the very end of it. I'm about to finish it off. And so before I did that, I wanted to demonstrate it for you guys. So now I'm going to use the smoothing solution part of this, which is the actual keratin treatment. And with this, you want to be a little more precise in your application. Like the Olaplex, you can just kind of, you know, smear around, make sure you spread it good enough, and you know, it'll do its job. But with this, I'm actually going to use a comb to make sure it's evenly distributed. First the wider side and then the finer side, to really ensure saturation of it. And I'm also going to do a better job of sectioning my hair. I'm trying to especially focus on parts of my hair that I know get frizzy. So everything kind of like near my ear here just loves to frizz up. And kind of the little hairs by my neck right here also love to frizz up. And then once I've applied some, I'm just going to wide comb it through and then fine comb it through. And I'm using the comb instead of the wet brush because, especially when using the finer side, you're going to get better distribution of the product throughout your hair. And I'm trying to work fast because you are supposed to apply this on damp hair, which mine is, and it's drying very quickly right now because I shampooed it. So the cuticle is open and it is drying out. And again, wide tooth comb it, and then fine tooth comb it. And we're about to talk about this formula a little bit, but if you notice, I'm not even wearing gloves when applying this, and that's because this formula is actually really gentle, formaldehyde free. So unlike I'm sure other formulas, I do not feel any sort of like stinging on my hands whatsoever. And since the very top layer of your hair tends to be the most damaged and the most frizzy, I am using up like the rest of this formula and concentrating it on the top layer of my hair, so that way that's extra smooth. And I don't know if you can see this on camera, but it is almost like starting to stiffen up my hair, making it a little more difficult to comb through. I'm literally trying to get out the last little bits of this. So I don't know if you've done a Apogee two-step treatment at home, but it's not quite getting it as dry and crunchy as that does, but it is definitely giving my hair some sort of like hold and stiffness, but it's still brushable, don't worry. I'm just putting what's left on my ends. Okay, now I'm gonna go wash my hands. And so while I went out and washed my hands, I also set my timer for an hour because that's how long this formula says that it has to stay on your hair for. So I just wanted to put this on my hair really quickly before my hair started drying too much, but let's talk a little bit about keratin treatments now. There's a lot of controversy surrounding them, the fact that they can potentially damage your hair, the fact that a lot of them, especially most of the ones used in salons, do have formaldehyde. And so that is one thing that I absolutely do not recommend you do, is go out and get one that has formaldehyde. I would even be careful because what I'm using is the Pure Brazilian Clear. And so that one is their formaldehyde-free solution, but Pure Brazilian does have like their original solution, which does have formaldehyde in it. So you definitely want to be very careful, read the ingredients, and just make sure that they're labeling it as safe, formaldehyde-free, etc. But there's a lot of different options that you can go out and pick from if you do want to do a safe, formaldehyde-free keratin treatment at home. I do know Coppola has one. The Goldwell Kerasilk line, I believe, has one. Saison Perfect Finish is a good one. There's Global Keratin, Liquid Keratin. And even if you're on a budget, I have used, I don't even know if they carry it anymore, but the Organics line had like a 30-day at-home keratin treatment, and I used that once when I was in a pinch. And I was in Florida and it was really humid, and I was like, I've got to do something with my hair. So I used that, and it was actually really good. Like, even my husband, when he saw my hair after I finished, he was like, wow, your hair is like shiny like metal or something. And he had no idea that I even did anything to it. So if that tells you anything. And so, even drugstore ones are good. And obviously in drugstore keratin treatments, like, they definitely don't put formaldehyde in those. They would not put that in the hands of someone that's not a licensed professional. So you can go ahead and go crazy with anything you find at the drugstore that's like a keratin treatment. But if you're going to get one of the professional kits, definitely look out for the ingredient methylene glycol, because that is the actual ingredient that turns into the formaldehyde gas, which, is what is irritating your lungs, your throat, making your eyes burn. I actually did once get a standard Brazilian keratin treatment at a salon, and they did take me on a back patio and everything and tried to ventilate the area, but I still ended up having side effects. Thankfully I didn't have hair falling out or anything like that, but I did have really irritated sinuses for a few months after that. So if you insist on doing one with formaldehyde, which some people insist on because it definitely gives you that super sleek straightness to your hair, which this really isn't going to. But another reason why I'm keeping my hair straight right now as opposed to clipping it up is because it's just getting really a little bit hard to the touch and crunchy, so I don't want to damage it by clipping it up. And I also want to try to preserve this kind of straightness, which is really hard to maintain using a formaldehyde-free one. So if you're absolutely insistent on still going ahead and doing something with formaldehyde, I don't recommend it, but if you do want to do it, then go outside on a patio or balcony, make sure no one's around, and wear a gas mask, because it's going to harm you too, even if you're out in the open air. So Again, I absolutely do not recommend it. I don't think I will ever get one done unless, yeah, I wear like a heavy duty construction respirator or something like that. But yeah, I'm not personally recommending it because the difference in results, I would say, isn't that dramatic. And so again, the one that I am using is the Pure Brazilian Clear, and this one is absolutely formaldehyde free. This is actually my favorite formula out of every keratin treatment that I've tried because unlike others, you actually put this on your hair like I just did and then sit with it on for an hour. And then you actually rinse out the residue from this and blow dry and flat iron your hair. And it has no residue in it. Like, it's good to go. You can style it after. You can wash it immediately if you want, although I don't recommend doing that. But it's so much easier to use than one that you have to apply to your hair and then try to like blow dry and flat iron with it, and you're just gonna get like greasy residue all over the place. Another one that I have that I actually do not recommend, and this one is very much the formula where you apply this to your hair, and this is the Kerastase Discipline in Salon treatment, and it's a 2-part treatment. And this, yeah, you have to apply to your hair and then try to blow dry and flat iron your hair with it in, and it's just a mess and it takes forever to dry. And this actually hasn't given me the best of results. I feel like it washes out really quickly and it doesn't leave my hair feeling quite like after a keratin treatment. Like the Pure Brazilian one definitely does. It's like I can tell that I did a keratin treatment, where with the Kerastase one, it just kind of feels like I maybe got an in-salon conditioning treatment, but not so much like a smoothing keratin treatment. I can't believe I'm not recommending Kerastase right now, but I've been really underwhelmed with that one, and unfortunately it's really big and I have a lot of it to go through still, but you know, it's still good in terms of conditioning your hair. But yeah, I wouldn't really use this in the summer and expect to stay super frizz free. Usually their products are good, but again, like I'm not going to recommend something that hasn't worked for me, even if it's Kerastase. So yeah, I don't recommend that one. So whichever one you end up choosing, definitely make sure you read the instructions very thoroughly, because again, the one that I'm using is very different from others in that you apply the solution, let it sit in your hair, and then go wash it out, and then do the blow dry and flat iron to seal it in. So definitely read your instructions really carefully and make sure that you're following it right, because you know, you don't want it to not work when you've spent all the money on it just because of a user error. It's been a little while, but not the full hour yet. So I'm going to wait for the full hour, rinse this out in the shower, and then when I come back, we will do the blow dry and straightening of this, and we'll go into more detail about that as well. So I'll see you in a little bit. All right, so I've just rinsed this out of my hair, and even though the actual instructions on this say to lightly rinse with the Pure Brazilian Anti-Frizz shampoo once, and that is like the everyday shampoo that you're supposed to use after doing the keratin treatment that's keratin safe and sulfate free, of course. I didn't do that because I've tried doing that in the past and I feel like it just rinses the treatment out a little too much. So I've had better results by just skipping that step and just rinsing with water, which I've already done. And so now the instructions say to blow dry your hair and flat iron it. So I'm not going to section my hair when I blow dry because my hair is a little more on the straight side. If you have, you know, really curly hair, then you might want to section it and blow dry with a round brush, but I'm just going to like finger dry my hair. And when I flat iron, and this is where I think a lot of people talk about keratin treatments damaging your hair, 450 degrees is usually the temperature that's associated with flat ironing your hair to seal the keratin treatment in. And that's really more intended for hair that's not only virgin, but is also, you know, on the thicker side, is very resilient and sturdy, and where it's resistant really to styling. So you'll know if that describes your hair. That definitely does not describe my hair. My hair is not virgin, it is color treated, and like every single individual like strand of hair that I have is like almost invisible. So I would not describe it as thick. I have extremely thin strands of hair and just a lot of them. But, you know, if you have really thick strands of hair, like, you know, you'll know that for sure. So obviously the thicker your individual strands, the more unmanageable you feel like your hair is, the closer you should use to that 450 degree mark. But for my hair type, for if your hair is damaged or thin, I don't recommend going above 370, and that's the temperature that I'm going to set my flat iron to today. And I never heat style above 370 degrees. That's like the hottest I will use any heat tools on my hair at. So yeah, it's definitely not going to damage your hair. I mean, yeah, 450 degrees is very, very hot. Like literally 451 burns your hair. So if your flat iron or heat tool is a little bit, unstable as far as that heat goes, like it can very easily fry your hair. Yeah, use a high quality flat iron and definitely adjust the temperature to your hair type and what your hair structure is. All right, so I'm just gonna do a quick blow dry right now. And if you can see, I'm not even using any sort of brush, and my hair is basically blow drying to completely straight. So this is very, very effective. This wouldn't be happening without the keratin treatment on my hair. So I'm gonna continue, and then we're gonna flat iron. And actually I am going to section it just a little bit because I'm having a hard time drying the back of this without over frying the top part. Okay, and so it's very important for your hair to be absolutely 100% dry. You never want to use a flat iron or any sort of heat tool like that on damper, wet hair. So I made sure my hair is 100% dry. And as you can see, even from just when I air dried it earlier today to now, there is a huge difference. And this is basically what your hair is going to turn out like. If your starting point is similar to mine, when you just air dry or blow dry like this. And obviously you can still heat style this. Now, the important step to do now is to seal it with a flat iron, which I'm about to fire up my flat iron and do that. But yeah, I just wanted to show you because obviously it's not a great before and after to show, frizzy, just shampooed hair and then flat ironed hair, because anyone can make their hair look healthy with a flat iron. But this is my hair right now with no residue in it, just blow dried with my fingers. So that is quite the difference. And like I said, this is very similar to the end result that you're gonna get with just a wash and go after this. Okay, so now that my flat iron's heated up, I'm going to again use it on the 370-degree setting and do little tiny sections. And the instructions say to pass over each section 7 to 10 times, but I think that's a little bit of overkill. So I'm just gonna do a couple times. And again, I think that if you wanna get a super sleek look after doing this and you wash it out after sealing it with a flat iron, then I think you could probably just blow dry your hair with a brush and it'll give you really pin straight results. But I'm happy enough with this as it is. Like I would maybe go in with a curling iron with this, and yeah, I would feel comfortable walking out in the rain because this is like very humidity proof, so it's awesome. So there you have it. I just finished flat ironing, and as you saw, I did very small sections to ensure that the heat was very evenly distributed, got to every part of the keratin treatment and really sealed that into my hair. And so the best part about the keratin treatment that I'm using, which is the Pure Brazilian Clear, is that my hair doesn't feel greasy. It's not like I have to not wash it for 3 days and then wash something out. This is good to go. Like I said, I could wet this now and curl it or air dry it again and it'll be fine. I wouldn't do that. What I would probably do is just put some oil in my hair just to add a little bit of hydration, because flat ironing is really bad for your hair. I basically never do it because, as you can see, I don't like this like flattened look on my hair. But yeah, so I'm just going to put a little bit of moisture into my hair, especially because the keratin does make it feel like a little different. I would say, you know, stronger and a little less soft, if that makes any sense. So I'm just going to put a little bit of softness and shine back in. But again, read the instructions on whatever keratin treatment you are using, because you may have to do the process of having sealed it with the product, you know, still very much in your hair, and then rinse it out like 72 hours later or something. And so with all of this done, the whole KERAPLEX treatment, it's really important, even if you just did the keratin portion, to use a very gentle keratin safe shampoo. So the one that is part of the line that I used was the Pure Brazilian Anti-Frizz shampoo, and of course it is sulfate and salt free. And the other shampoo that I've been using is the Caviar Repair Instant Recovery shampoo. And again, that one is sulfate and salt-free. So that's super important. You know, don't be deceived by a lot of marketing. For example, I was using a like L'Oreal Everpure sulfate-free shampoo before, and I actually ended up washing out a keratin treatment with that because it still had sodium chloride in it, and so it was not keratin safe. And there's a lot of really big brands that, you know, claim to be sulfate free and good for your hair, but they're not necessarily keratin safe. So Pureology, for example, is sulfate free, and it's not a bad shampoo, but it's still going to strip a keratin treatment from your hair because it does have sodium chloride. So definitely research your ingredients before you use a shampoo on your keratin treated hair. If you watched my Ulta haul right here, I even picked up 2 shampoos recently that are also very keratin safe. One is the Lonza Healing Color Care, and this is the color preserving shampoo. So their products actually are infused with keratin as well. So if you use something that also has keratin in it, it's gonna kind of like help the keratin stay in your hair and not wash out as fast. And the other shampoo was the AG Hair Care Smooth with Argan and Coconut, and this is very moisturizing and defrizzing. And again, it's, you know, sulfate free, salt free, so, you know, use something high quality. I know that a lot of drugstore brands have started promoting sulfate free shampoos, but unless it's like a keratin one from a drugstore brand, it's probably still going to have salt in it. So again, check your ingredients. So that's it for this video today. I hope you like it, and if you did, then show me some love by clicking that like button down below. And if you do happen to try this, leave a comment and let me know how it goes for you, or if you still have any questions or concerns, I'd love to help you out. And if you're still here, check out one of these 2 videos by me. And don't forget to click my face and it'll subscribe you to my channel so you can catch all my future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.